Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Connor Cardenas. And before we get into it today, I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of my homies over at Steel Mill Coffee in Oceanside, California. Of course, I'm talking about my homies, Anna, Giles, Little C, Riley, and of course, Shay. And if you're ever in the area, guys, cruise on in, say what up to the homies, grab a coffee, and you will not be disappointed. Steel Mill Coffee in Oceanside, California. Check them out. And if you guys haven't already, head on over to www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. And of course, you know you can get that amazing Issa blend, which is dark, chocolate, and bold, and it's the OG of Caffeine and Green, so it's amazing. And then also, you can get the new coffee inspired by my homegirl, Leov Clockley, and it's called the Victory Lap. It's a single origin pea berry from Tanzania, Tarim, Tanzania, actually, to be more specific. And it's a little bit tropical, a little bit more fruity, and a little bit tart. So it's but it's a light roasted coffee, so it's completely different from the Issa, but it's amazing. And we also have a brand new Colombia coffee coming April 1st. It's going to be a collaboration coffee with Shieldless Mag. So, guys, we're in for a real treat, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So, head on over to www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. All right. My guest today is an amazing individual. He's a young entrepreneur, and I have to say, his name is Avonte Hartsfield. He is the owner of Rollin Roots San Diego. It's a vegan comfort food truck here in San Diego in Kearny Mesa, I believe. And it's amazing. He does like this buffalo chicken sandwich and banh mi sandwich and just amazing other foods. But he's also doing amazing things for his community. He was a foster parent for quite some time. He also is giving away free meals to people to whatever they can do in the pandemic. So he was just an inspiring individual to talk to, a young entrepreneur, and it just blew my mind. You guys are in for a real treat. So, without further ado, Avonte Hartsfield, Rollin Roots San Diego. This is your time to shine, homie. Let's go. Give me caffeine and green. It's your boy Connor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and green. And we're live. This time it's for real.
For real.
Avonte Hartsfield, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
I just usually get right into it. The reason you are on Caffeine and Green, sir, and the reason that I mean, it's been kind of a back and forth. It's been I think we've been talking for a little bit over a month, maybe 2 months to try to get you on the show.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been trying. But you, sir, you are the owner of a food truck, a vegan food truck.
Yes.
It's called Rollin Roots San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, there's so many people in San Diego that either own food trucks or are business owners or anything like that. But what sparked my attention was, like I was telling you before the podcast, it was either my friend Leov or it was my friend Josh, one of the two. Might have been both. But they showed me your Instagram. Yeah. And kind of your story and everything along with, what happened with COVID and basically how you kind of defied the odds, I guess, or not even defied the odds. You overcame and you survived, and yet everybody started covering your story. I mean, when I started really looking into what you're like, who you are, your brand, everything like that, I noticed KUSI, like Channel 7, ABC, NBC, Fox, right? Like all of these. I watched some of your interviews, and I was like, yo, I have to get this guy on the show. I have to. But yeah, so tell me about your story. I mean, we could start at the very beginning, or we could start at COVID. Where do you want to start?
I mean, I guess we could start at COVID. The beginning is just a typical restaurant industry story. Started as a dishwasher and just worked my way up to the industry. But with COVID, I started at the farmers markets. We're doing pretty well. I was in about 10 to 15 markets a week on my way to opening a restaurant. And then, boom, March 15th came and closed everything down for us. So all markets got stopped. Nothing else was going on for us. And I had to pivot, figure out what I was going to do. And then I decided to switch into a food truck. and that's how Rollin Roots was born. You know, it was just me at the beginning because I couldn't afford any other staff or, you know, anybody else to help out. So, you know, I was making the food, doing the ordering, prepping, taking the orders, like every single aspect of it, just trying to make
in your food truck.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow,
every single thing, like every single aspect. It was just me, so I had to do everything. And it still wasn't quite making it. You know, it wasn't looking like it was going to be sustainable during the pandemic. So, just made a post on Instagram, letting everybody know. You know, it's like, hey, I'm kind of at the end. I'm kind of close to closing here. If I end up failing, you know, support some other vegan businesses. But this is, you know, kind of the reality of what's going on out here. And,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
So then you put this post on, and that's what I'm assuming, like, there was a major shift in your fortune or just in business. Like,
yeah,
dude, just one post on Instagram.
Right, exactly. One post on Instagram. I got shared on Instagram everywhere, Facebook, reposted to everybody's stories. It was on Twitter, went viral there. I was like, you know.
You went viral. Like, yo, bro, like legit went viral. Okay.
yeah.
Damn.
It was like, it was pretty crazy. So I'm just, you know, definitely got a huge shift in business, huge turn. Obviously, you know, that first month was just overwhelmingly busy. Now it's like settling down, which is good, but it's still busy enough to, you know, sustain a staff and, you know, keep going and thinking about expanding and things like that. So we're doing well for being in a pandemic for sure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, dude. I mean, like, it's great about going to your spot is that your food portions are definitely massive.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're big portions.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I crushed the whole thing, which is funny because I took my roommate and my other friend over there, and we ate the whole thing, and we were all kind of sitting here eating, and I crushed the whole thing. They were like, you ate that whole thing?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, bro. I was hungry. I was like, I knew I was going to your spot.
Right.
I was like looking on Instagram.
Yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't going to be like one of those things where you like, maybe the camera was just super close and it looks way bigger in real life, but it was like, nah, son, this is huge.
Yeah.
So you went viral. This Instagram post now, was there one particular person or maybe a couple people that were maybe, like, I don't want to use the word influencers, but like people that were had significant enough followers or a following that really changed? I mean, because you got on ABC, Fox, you got all these things. Like, dude, it's not just going viral. I mean, you had local news channels covering you and having like legit 5-minute, 6-minute interviews.
Right. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. The ABC, it was like almost 8 minutes long, you know?
Yeah.
But, excuse me. I know I had a friend, Angelica, she posted on Twitter, and that was kind of like the biggest, like where it was shared the most and retweeted, and you know, I wasn't even on Twitter before that. So like when she posted it to Twitter, it kind of just went Twitter viral, you know, and just like got reshared and shared, and everybody was like sharing the story and everything. So that, I think that's kind of like the main post, but you know, it's been on a bunch of Facebook pages and things like that. So I don't know if necessarily anybody had like a huge following. Not that I know, you know, like I haven't seen, you know, but like it's just been shared throughout the local community. So I've just been lucky on that aspect.
Were you tripping when like the news channels reached out to you? Like,
yeah,
hey, this is from like Peggy from ABC or something.
Right. Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Like I even like, you know, when it happened, like the first day that I posted it on the Sunday, and like the next day it was like a line around the corner, and I was like, oh, this is like absurd, dude. Like,
a line out around the corner?
Yeah, it was like a line out the door, and it was just me, you know, I was still just me. Like I had called a couple friends to help me cashier, but like I had to make all that food, you know, like it was just, I was like, so it was crazy for a while, you know, trying to get people in, trying to get family to help me out, and just like create all, you know, do everything. So, you know, like I couldn't like scale up that you know, that fast. But it was definitely like, now that it's like settling, I'm looking, you know, we're looking into expanding and things like that, but it was for sure like overnight crazy for sure.
Damn, that's super rare to actually be able to say like it literally was overnight.
Yeah, it was literally overnight. Like I made that post, and then the next day, after being shared so many times, like, I didn't even know there was a vegan food truck over here. I didn't even know. Like, so now it's like, yeah.
Was it in the same spot that it's in Kearny Mesa, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Kearny Mesa. At first, I was in Pacific Beach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was like a great spot, but the owners are crazy. I don't know what the heck's going on. Like I had done a full lease with them. Like a full lease for the next, you know, 10 years, take over that space, and they were like, they were hung up on like a parking spot that was like It was weird. It was like super weird, and I was like,
parking spot?
Yeah, a parking spot. I was like, they're like, oh well, this is like they brought it up after the fact, and they're like, oh, this is non-negotiable. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. I'm gonna go ahead and stay away from you guys. Like, yeah, weird, super weird.
Like you taking it?
So it was like it's a full space, like a full lot, like I have now with the building in the back, and there were the space has been vacant for like years, so they would like allow tenants to park there, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use that whole space for my food truck and seating, and then they were like. And they're like, oh yeah, nobody's parking. Nobody's supposed to be parking there. And then they're like, oh well, there's this one person that is in his lease. I was like, okay, cool. Well, just whenever their lease is up, just have them park somewhere else. Like there's other parking spots over here. Just because I'm gonna have like a food truck here. You know, I can't have like cars in the middle of the dining room. You know, or in the middle of tables. And they're like, oh, it's not negotiable. And I was like, oh, well, you know. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a negotiable for me,
right?
I mean,
yeah,
you know, like
it's not. Yeah, like exactly. Like it's not negotiable for you guys, but like I'm not. I don't. It was like so weird that they were like so gung ho on that because like we had negotiated a lease for the next 10 years, and I was like, oh, you guys are crazy. So I'm like, I mean, I guess I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I would definitely. I would definitely say so.
Yeah.
So, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
I cannot deal with him talking. You need to be quiet. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
So you get this parking spot. So then what happens next? You start looking for new spaces, or did you know somebody in Kearny Mesa that hooked that up?
No, it was like I was. So actually, I have my retail dealer's license for auto dealership. So that space was actually already in the works for me to rent it out for an auto dealership, but sales were so low that I just wasn't looking at it, you know, because the pandemic happened and that business was like by the wayside as well. So I was like, oh, let me look at this business to put the food truck here, you know, to have a permanent location. And it kind of was like, it worked out pretty perfectly. You know, it's a lot of size that I could fit the food truck there. I could have operations there. So it was like, I just went back to it after I decided that I wasn't going to stay in Pacific Beach, and it was still available. So I just took it.
Sick.
Yeah.
So when did that take place?
August of last year.
August of last year.
Yeah. So like switching over to that new location was in August. September, October.
And it
was October.
October.
Yeah.
Of last year?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so more recently.
Yeah, pretty recently. Yeah. This like the viral post was in December.
Damn.
Yeah. Like this is all like
okay.
it's only been 3 months since then.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty recent.
Was it Rollin Roots the whole time?
Mm-hmm. The whole it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole time. Well, so at first for farmers markets, it was the Source Vegan.
The Source Vegan.
Yeah. So that was the name of the farmers market tent that we had, and then I created Rollin Roots because the Source is Source and Roots are synonyms for each other. So the mobile version of my business was Rollin Roots. So it kind of stuck like that. But now Rollin Roots is obviously way bigger and way more than the farmers markets.
Yeah.
So it's for sure like the main thing. And then we're gonna go back to farmers markets, but it'll be under Rollin Roots.
Would it be like Little Italy? Something
We'll be in the. I've been talking to the market managers for Little Italy, but like North Park, I think Lucadia as well.
Oh, nice.
Oceanside. Pacific Beach, the PB market on Tuesdays, and then I got to talk to Ocean Beach, but I think that would be like the best, you know, market too. Like a pretty good one.
Dude, yeah, because you have like the People's Market over there.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't even think about that.
And we're vegan, so like you know, a majority of vegans live in OB, a great concentration of them. So.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Dude, I lived there. I lived there for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Along that time, and like.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it living there, but.
Yeah.
There's definitely some.
Yeah.
Vegans there for sure.
Yeah.
So. We were talking about before the podcast that you aren't necessarily a straight vegan, but why did you want to start a vegan restaurant?
So, like I've only been on the vegan journey for like the last year, and a lot of the food that I've had, most of it is like it's like food that I wouldn't consider changing for, you know, like even with all the documentaries and everything that's out there, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat this shit.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
disgusting. Like this is not. It's like not bad, but like, come on, this is not like I'm not. This is gonna make me change my lifestyle into vegan. Like not happening.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the main thing that was like that made me want to get into it. I'm like, okay, you know, I do know I need to eat less meat. I do want to start going plant based. How can I help me? You know, like
Yeah.
how can I help myself do that? And I was just creating food that I was gonna want to eat. You know, like on a more regular basis. Like obviously, you know, you need to eat healthy, you need the bowls and everything like that. But you know, I want to eat some fried chicken, or I want to eat good food. I don't necessarily want to eat like a salad every day, or like a bowl, or a rice bowl that's like mushy or whatever. You know, like it's not. I need some texture and flavor and things like that. So that's definitely what made me want to just step into it and create these items for myself.
So did you like? Are these your? Dude, come here. This guy, dude. He is just like. You have to chill.
Yeah.
You have to chill.
He's wild.
Jeez Louise, I'm so sorry.
Oh, good.
Hey. So for people who can't see what's going on, we have my roommate's dog here. His name's Bo, and he is just the most adorable little puppy, but he is just so wild. Here, you need to chill. Here we go. So, sorry. Why did you? I mean, based on, you know, creating these dishes, were these the dishes like, you know, the buffalo chicken and like the other things like that? Are those like your normal, maybe your go-tos that are not vegan? That's why you were like,
Yeah, so like I liked, well, for sure, like the buffalo chicken and then the daikon love, the banh mi, or like, you know, those are flavors that I love. You know, I love eating banh mi or Vietnamese food and things like that. So these are things that I wanted to recreate that I was like, I could for sure eat a buffalo chicken sandwich, like, you know, once a week. Or really, I love Mexican food, and I used to do a lot of Mexican food at the markets, but when I did the food truck, I wanted to stick to the one kind of concept, and then, you know, I'll eventually get a Mexican food truck, a vegan Mexican food truck, or things like that. But I wanted to kind of keep it concentrated and not be like doing too much or things everywhere. And I think starting with Rollin Roots was the best because it's kind of the most complex. You know, there's still like a lot of different flavors and different things like that. But these are for sure things that I would like miss. You know, like I'm like, I want some buffalo chicken, or I want chicken, or I want chicken wings, or whatever. So those are the flavors that I kind of tried to recreate for like some ASAP. You know, saving myself.
yeah. Is there challenges that that you're presented with when you're trying to recreate like maybe the buffalo sauce? Like I'm not too familiar with what goes into it, but I know there's a lot of restrictions in what like vegans can eat. So I mean, I'm imagining that with a lot of these things, obviously the meat being the first thing,
right.
But maybe like the sauces.
Yeah. So for sure, like the sauces, like I used to do every single I used to make every single sauce from scratch. But now that it's been a lot busier, I'm gonna go back into it. But like I used to make my mayo from scratch and things like that, and now I'm buying the Follow Your Heart soy-free Vegenaise in the big ass 5-gallon tubs, like $100 though.
Legit.
But
$100.
yeah, for mayo, 5 gallons of mayo. Crazy how expensive it is, right?
Whoa.
Yeah, $100 for one.
How much does it talk you to make? How much does it cost you to make a 5-gallon by yourself?
It cost me like $20 because I have to use the oil and then the vegan aquafaba, so it's still
Dude, $20 to $100?
yeah, right. But like I just couldn't keep up with the demand, and I wasn't
100%.
using enough garbanzo beans to make the aquafaba to make the mayo. You know, like I had to use that stuff. So, but for sure worth it. You know, for the convenience factor. You know, I'm not whipping mayo up every day. But yeah, like the sauces, like, you know, the chipotle aioli, I got to use, like, you know, I have to make sure that I go through the ingredient list of all the things. Now that I'm buying more stuff that's pre-made, I'm going to eventually go back into making the sauces, like my teriyaki sauce and stuff again. But I use coconut liquid aminos, and I used to only use a small portion or a small amount of those. But now, like, I'm making more sandwiches. It's hard to like find enough quantity of the stuff that I need to make the teriyaki sauce,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah,
like stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So it's definitely hard to like find it in big quantities, but eventually, you know, I'll be able to get there where I'm just buying so much of it that I can just get it shipped or something like that, you know,
Yeah.
from somewhere else.
Now, You said earlier in the conversation here that you wanted to expand, or you're thinking about expanding.
Yeah.
Does that mean? I mean, I would imagine. Just my first thought is that you're not going to do like a brick and mortar. You're probably going to get another food truck.
Yeah, so I'm for sure gonna expand the food truck ways.
Okay.
I am doing a space with Serpentine Cider actually in Miramar. It's like a brick and mortar inside of their brewery.
Oh, sick.
And I will eventually open like a vegan soul food restaurant or something like that, because that's kind of like where I want to do. But like mostly right now for expanding, it's gonna be food trucks. I'll try and get one in North County and maybe one in South Bay or in different places until I covering the area, and then I'll eventually branch out and just do the food truck thing, because it's a solid business model right now, especially during the pandemic. Easy to move and uproot if it's not working out. So food trucks for sure.
Dude, I mean, I not that it's any relevance, but like, can you tell me again how old you are? Just so people can know how old you are.
I'm 24.
You're 24.
Yeah.
24 for all the bilingual people out there. Yo.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the way you're talking about expansion and the way you're talking about business, you're talking like a grown-ass man.
Well, so, yeah.
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
what? Dude, where did you get that?
So I started as a dishwasher. Like, my first job was 14, when I was 14 years old. So I grew up in the system. Actually, I grew up in foster care. I'm the oldest of 15.
Of 15?
One fucking 5, bro. My mom has 10 kids, and my dad has another 5.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm never gonna have kids, right? Ever. I'm fucking like I'll just no, thank you. But yeah, I'm the oldest of 15. Grew up in the system. From when I was 9 to when I was 17. Right when I turned 17, joined the Air Force Reserves. Moved to San Diego.
From where?
From Riverside, not too far. Yeah, Riverside County. I started working in restaurants. I was a server, and I continued working in restaurants simultaneously while I was in the reserves. When I was 19, I became a manager, assistant manager, like on salary, at a restaurant in San Diego. At
19?
Yeah. Before I could even pour liquor. Yeah, at Sammy's Wood Fired Pizza. It was the best and the worst job ever, because it taught me so much. But I worked my way up to being a general manager and then a regional manager with them. And then when I was I grew up in the system, so I'm also a foster parent. Like, I've been one since I was 22.
Wait, a foster parent?
Yeah.
Meaning
yeah.
you bring kids in?
Yeah, well, not right now because I just started this food truck. But yeah, I've had I only take teenagers in just because.
Whoa, wait, just fucking whoop, whoop. Let's rewind that back real quick. You just said I don't want kids, but you're a foster parent.
Well, that's why I don't want kids. Like, I don't want little babies. Teenagers, they're ready to go into adulthood, still fucking up, they need some guidance. That's what I want to do. I don't want to raise them from birth and have a kid of my own.
Bro, mad respect. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I worked in the restaurant industry for my entire life, pretty much. Started at Sammy's, and then I was a restaurant consultant for a year, and then a restaurant partner at a vegan restaurant in Encinitas, and then I decided that I'm ready to just do my own thing. So that's where I started the farmers markets.
But where did this business mentality come from? Where did this hustle mentality come from for you?
I mean, I guess, just growing up, I've had to always fend for myself, had to make it, one way or the other. So, I've just had I've been living on my own since I was 17. So there was no other option for me.
You grew up fast.
Yeah, I definitely grew up fast. I pretty much raised my siblings. So I definitely, it was pretty much I had no other option. I couldn't fall back on family. I couldn't, I've been out here, away from everybody. So there's really no other alternative than, either working in corporate or deciding I want to own my own business. And I decided that I wanted to own my business, and I was going to learn everything that I needed to learn in order to make it happen. And I decided, I'm not going to settle for anything, especially when working. So worked my way up through the restaurants, and then when it was time for me to go, or when it was time for me to do my own thing, like I started the farmers markets. I just wasn't gonna sit and stay stagnant or anything like that. I needed to make it happen. So I was just eager to learn as much as possible. And I always thought, I was like, oh, I'm ready to open a restaurant. But like now, like going through it, I was like, oh yeah, if I would have did it back then, I wouldn't have learned this. Or I've definitely had like some great cumulative experiences at all the places that I worked at. I for sure wouldn't be where I'm at without them. So
yeah. Do you find your motivations from your family, maybe music? Do you find other motivations like just in your daily life when you're doing what you're doing right now? You're like, damn, I'm motivating myself.
Yeah. I mean, definitely for sure, like, motivating myself, but like, it's more so like I knew where I grew up, I knew where I came from, and I didn't want, I wanted it to be not to go back to that, and I wanted like my siblings to like know that it's possible. My siblings, that's why I'm a foster parent, just to know that, so that the other kids that grew up like me could know that there is, you don't have to go down this route, or you don't have to do that. Like, there's an opportunity for you and a possibility for you. So like, I'm for sure, like, my motivation, that's my driving force, is just thinking about, all of the kids that are potentially looking up to me, and coming from where I'm coming from. So that's kind of for sure. I think that's my major motivation.
Wow. Dude, I did not see this conversation going this way. Like, that's so crazy. I didn't plan on
talking about it either, but
No, that's so sick though, bro. Yeah. Like, okay, so if you don't mind telling me, like, let me turn this light on real quick.
Okay.
Just so because I know it's getting dark here.
Yeah, it's all good.
What was it like? I mean, if you're okay with talking about it, what was it like to bring in your first foster child?
So I mean, it was definitely, like an experience. The process was a while, but like after the first kids that I brought in were like, just like temporary stays, and then they're all temporary stays, but like, just like they're visiting from whatever. They're only here for a few months, but I think the experience was like, for sure rewarding, because I was once in their shoes, so it wasn't like awkward or anything. It was just like, this is what I got time to do this. I got energy. Obviously now I'm not fostering right now because, I'm at the truck every single day. Yeah, well, COVID and like, the business. I'm practically sleeping in my office, but, when I did have time, it was for sure, like a rewarding experience. Yeah, I would say.
Has it been challenging at all?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think so. Like being somebody who only like the case, like I'm fostering through the county, and like the cases that I take are like only like teenagers or like kids that they couldn't place anywhere else. Because I'm young, I have the energy, so it's for sure like I've always got the most challenging like cases, I would say. But I have the energy, I have the time, or I had the time.
Yeah, I had the time.
Like I had what it took to like kind of see these cases through. I think one of the most difficult ones was like the 16-year-old kid that I had. Ended up finding an adoptive home, but like there's for sure. I can't say that any of the kids that I've had have like not been challenging, but it's coming from foster care, it's a lot of trauma that they're dealing with, and a lot of kids don't know how to express that trauma, so they're just bad kids. They're just like a lot of the kids from foster care are just, they're in the system their whole life. They go from foster care to juvenile hall to jail to prison. They're on that same path. So like my job is to like kind of redirect them a little bit as much as I can.
Motivate them,
right,
find inspiration,
exactly.
whatever you can.
Yeah, most like there's definitely the system is not built in their favor. It's definitely like a stepping stone to jail, pretty much.
A stepping stone to jail. That's a reality check if I ever seen one. Bo,
yeah, for sure.
Wow, man, that's so heavy in so many ways. But like you're still so young. You're owning a business. You're expanding your business.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, like you're well beyond your years. Like when you walked in and you told me that you were 24, I was like, what? I was like, God damn. Like, okay. But I mean, are you even thinking about the future in terms of like, 5 years down the line, or are you just trying to get through right now?
I mean, I've definitely like I used to like have like structured plans, but the pandemic kind of threw everything for a huge loop. So like my 5 and 10 year plans are gone. Right now it's just right now
On the moment.
yeah, it's just what am I going to do right now? How am I going to pivot from this, and what's going on? Right today.
Do you find that's almost refreshing though? Based on like before the old model, right? Like,
right.
2019 up until March 15th of 2020,
Right.
the model was like maybe start the farmers markets, especially in San Diego.
Right.
Get enough to the brick and mortar and
Right.
then expand, right?
Right.
And that was what I saw people do. There was like a Decline, or not Declines, but it's like this Hawaiian food spot in Lucadia, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, they started off as a food truck. They kind of built it out in like a parking lot. And then they got a spot in Del Mar, and then they like never really opened up the brick and mortar in Del Mar, and it just
Right.
kind of stayed at the spot there.
Yeah.
But now with 2020 being the year of the pandemic and everything switched. I mean, even coffee shops for me, Caffeine and Green. I do roast for a coffee shop in Oceanside called Steel Mill, but Caffeine and Green is strictly e-commerce. Like I do all the marketing, and then everybody can buy my coffee online, but there's no brick and mortar.
Yeah.
But in it, I was able to survive just based on that. It was like, hell yeah, this is amazing.
Right. Perfect.
Now you're doing a mobile food truck. You don't need a brick and mortar.
Exactly.
So do you find that almost refreshing in a way?
Yeah, it's definitely like refreshing than like having to worry about like meeting these like these new hard structured goals, and like thinking about like, oh man, I have to get this done in order to be I'm behind. I think I've always ran my life behind. I'm in a competition with myself, I guess.
Always.
I'm just like always like I'm not good enough. Like I'm not there yet. Haven't made it. Like I gotta grind. But I do think actually that as far as like restaurant spaces, like food trucks, and brick and mortars, like if I did have a brick and mortar, like it would be a little bit. I would for sure have higher sales, because people are like always asking like, oh, where's the food truck at today? Like, but I mean it's in the same locations, but like thinking about a food truck, it's like a little different idea than like going into a quick like a Chipotle or something. So
yeah,
for sure. But like definitely, I think that the food truck model for me is like here to stay. I plan on getting a few more, putting them in different locations. Having people run them for me, or like having one person oversee them, and just expanding the food truck route for sure, because it's like the easiest to get into. Lower overhead. You can control your costs a lot better for sure. Yeah.
Gas prices definitely affect that, though.
Well, I mean, not if you're in the same location every day.
Yeah, hey, there you go.
Right.
Okay, there you go. Fair.
Right.
Now, my next thing I want to get into, and now, honestly, now that you've told me a little bit about your background, I've been a foster child and stuff like that, or foster children. Is this why you do that free meal? Like, pay what you can, take what, like you can take a free meal if you can pay. If you can't, it's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm doing it because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like I started the food truck in the pandemic. I was struggling myself to make ends meet, and I was like, I know that I'm not the only one struggling here. I was freaking trying to get unemployment. It took like forever. I don't know how many months. I'm like, bro, like what if what if they didn't
help you out?
Yeah, bro, like what if my landlord was like, oh no, you got to pay this rent, all right, you're big, like what the heck, like what if that was going on? So I'm like, I know that I'm not the only one going through the situation. I know that everyone else is going through a tough time, so let me see what I can do. Like I did the free meal program, had the meal prices to where I could take from that profit and then just put it back in there. So I mean, it's just pretty much just because of the pandemic for sure.
Damn. Has there been a good response to it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like so what happened is I actually just lowered my prices because a lot of people weren't taking advantage of the free meal program. They're paying full price for it, and it was kind of like they were feeling like they shouldn't be using the full free meal program, whatever. And I was like, this is not cool. So I literally just like slashed my prices down. I added like a lot of like some super affordable things, like you can get an order of potato flautas for $3 now with cash, or like a lot of lower prices on things, lower the bowls. Like I got some sandwiches that you can get for like $5. Bowls of the rice bowls for like $5 too. And I'm gonna add some new specials, but like I for sure was like I was seeing people coming do it, but it wasn't like it wasn't like as many people that should have been using it, taking advantage of it. So I decided to kind of switch the model a little bit and just make everything across the board cheaper, and then throw on like some like dollar value things like that on the menu. So
sick, dude. Hell yeah. Now you obviously seem like a very disciplined individual. Was it always that case, or was it the military that taught you that?
I think like growing up in the system was like kind of more military too, because even like my foster parents, my foster dad was pretty he was military, former military, so it definitely gave me that discipline. And I actually wish I was a lot more disciplined, with my schedule and stuff like that, because my schedule is not ever, in a pristine, like the way that it should be. Like I should be doing this, and I should be like getting up early, and I should be like making sure that I have my appointments in order. But like with everything else going on, I'm just like, that's, it's on
just
the way.
Wake up and see how it goes.
Right, yeah. Exactly. It's one of those things. But definitely, I guess I would say a combination of like both. I can't really tell like where the discipline came from, as far as like making sure that like my business and stuff is in order, but it's there and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your motivation behind joining the Air Force?
I just wanted, so I first actually wanted to join the Marines. Really, I wanted to be in the Marines, and they wouldn't let me pick my job. Like I scored like a 96 on the ASVAB, and they're like, oh, you have to go in open. And I was like, I'm not just going to not choose my job. Like, you guys are crazy. Like, I'm not going to just have the opportunity to potentially be something that I don't want to, like, do something that I want to do. And I got, like, a very good score on
Is there, like, out of a possible 100?
Yeah, it's like, it's like out of a 1. Yeah, it's like, but, like, I think for the Marines, like, the minimum score to get in is, like, 26 or something. And I was like, bro, I got a 96. Like, you need to.
Bro, I got a 96.
Yeah. Like, you're on drugs if you think I'm not about to just choose my job.
Yeah.
And get a bonus. So I joined the Air Force, and obviously the Air Force is the best branch, it says. But like, dude, that was like, even in the reserves, like it was, it was definitely a great experience for sure. Like, I definitely learned a lot. I got to see a lot of cool shit. I had a cool job in the Air Force. I was like pretty much military hazardous TSA. Like, there was one trip that I went to Guam to do a helicopter, and it was like a 12-day trip. It was just a vacation pretty much. Like, I had an hour of work on that whole trip. So it was like super cool. But for sure, the military is a hard lifestyle, even in the reserves, even dealing with like a lot of different shit. So
you had to do boot camp though too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like everybody. I think even the Coast Guard has to do boot camp.
Yeah. Coast Guard. I'm familiar with the Coast Guard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I'd say it was a fun experience for sure. It's not for everybody. I don't recommend it for everybody.
Yeah.
But fun.
Do you need another beer?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab one. I'll be
Okay.
right back. Dude, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
Dude, you went to Guam, but did you get to go to like any other places over there, like Saipan or anything?
No. So I went to the Guam trip. We went to Korea actually.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Korea, Kusan, and Osan. Went to Korea, Hawaii, and Japan on that trip.
Damn, butter.
Yeah, on that one trip, which was fun.
Oh, all on that same trip?
That same trip.
Well, because, dude, I've taken that same route. Like, I flew from LAX to Seoul.
Yeah.
And then Seoul to Saipan.
Uh-huh.
Because that's the only way to, like, to get there. But Guam's an hour away from Saipan, so it's, like, essentially the same,
Right, yeah.
Did you get to, like walk around and go eat and
experience Seoul? It was like we spent like 3 days in every single place that we went to, like that we stopped at. So it was like, yeah, like perfect.
Did you learn any of the local lingo? Like, did you ever go up in Korean like 감사합니다?
Oh no, I wasn't even like they have. So what's funny actually is was it Japan? They have like an American village, which is like how we have Chinatown. Like they have an American.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No, they don't. Do they?
They
really?
do. Yeah. And, like they have like a Ferris wheel there. Like they got like these big ass burgers. They're like huge with like chicken cutlets in them. It was like weird, but like it was like okay, this is their whatever. And it was an American village. Like hot dogs and have like hot like chili dogs that were like weird. It was like obviously I would imagine. That's how our Chinatown is to them, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you say that because Convoy is definitely like where a lot of the Asian food is over there, and you're kind of close to Convoy.
I am right there.
But what was funny about that when I was actually in Seoul, I remember one thing specifically was like we were walking around and there was like a group of there was 9 of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was 9 or 11 of us, but there was a bunch of us because we were all coming from Saipan. Mm-hmm. And the one day we were all in Seoul together, we're like, oh, we should go eat Korean barbecue. Mm. But then, I don't know, I thought this was not a stupid question, but all of my friends literally looked at me like I was the dumbest person ever. And I was like, I feel like you guys are all thinking it, so I'm going to say it. None of them were thinking about it.
Right.
And they were like, I was like, hey, we're in Korea.
Right.
It's not Korean barbecue anymore, isn't
barbecue.
it? It's just barbecue, right? And they all looked at me and they were like, God, it was like the stupidest question. I was like
no, it's just
that's
barbecue.
a legit ass question.
Yeah, why would we call American like Texas, American barbecue, anything else besides barbecue?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but when you go there, like I lived in France at one point too.
Yeah.
And in the south of France, and it was like, I was with my mom. My mom's from here too, mm-hmm. And she was like, we were just walking around one day. We found like a Mexican restaurant, and I lived in Aix-en-Provence in the south of France.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, let's go there. Like we were like, oh hell yeah,
Yeah.
They tried to speak English, and like, because we'd speak French, but if they could speak English, it was tight.
Right.
So it's like part of the theme, but they ate like Southwest. Like it was like Southwest Mexican food,
like
and
Texas.
Not even Texas, like New Mexico, and
ooh.
like my mom lives in New Mexico, so I was like, oh, God damn it! Like no hate on New Mexico, but like your Mexican food sucks.
Right.
I'll say it, but like, dude, they have like green chili and like all this other stuff, and it was like,
bro, this is not what I want a carne asada burrito.
But it's not even that, bro. Like, I grew up in Northern California where the Mexican food was like the only good Mexican food was coming from my auntie who was like she's from Sinaloa.
Yeah.
And then it was coming from my grandma.
Right.
So it's like, all right, that's where I ate Mexican food.
Right.
Like until I came here, bro, I never really used to eat burritos.
Yeah.
Like I remember
like plates. Yeah.
No, like just a burrito in general. Yeah. Like I think I literally I remember one of my first burritos was called a King Kong burrito, and it was at like this burrito shop in San Jose, up in the Bay Area where I'm from, and like. I was like, this is just so ridiculous. Like, why are the burritos so big? But then I moved to San Diego, and I started seeing the burritos out here, and I was like, yo, like a California burrito, the first time, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, yo. Yeah. Shout out Trujillo's over on 70th and Oklahoma over there. Or not 70th and Oklahoma, but College in Montezuma or something like that. That's my spot.
I used to live, that was the first apartment I lived at. It was over there in College Area on Rolando. I used to go there all the time. That fucking...
Dude, you know what I'm talking about then, like after the parties and stuff.
I was like walking out late at, I didn't even know about it. I was like, dude, what the hell is going on over here? Dude. Yeah. So many nights ended there. And it's just like, I can tell you, bro, like so many nights, it would just be like head on the table, like, just give me a Cali burrito. Right. Just give me one.
Dude, and then like, that's back when like Fraternity Row was still there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm a little older than you, so it's like, it was still like, it was like popping, son. Yeah, it was just a different time, but I mean, yeah, man, fuck, I don't know. I think it's dope that you're doing, like, I mean, you obviously want to do Mexican food. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, eventually for sure. Oh, well, yeah, I do want to have I got like a pretty good Mexican food concept that I'm working on for vegan. So
buttery.
Yeah,
dude, have you heard of Chicano soul food?
No, I think I have actually.
It's like Dos Tierras is like I think the parent company, and then like the one off of it was Chicano soul food. It was this guy named Sergio, or is this guy named Sergio?
Yeah.
And he's a homie of mine. He would do a lot of my coffee events when I used to work for this other coffee company.
Did he go to Grossmont, the food court there?
I think he set up a shop over there or something
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does vegan options. I mean, he doesn't do strictly vegan, but he would have vegan options, and it was so good, bro. Like potatoes and other things.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I get excited when I hear about like the vegan options for burritos, because as we discussed earlier, you know, you don't want to eat stuff that's not going to taste good or not appetizing to you. So why not make it more appealing, right?
Right.
If it's vegan, regardless, I don't care. Does it taste good?
Right.
Are the flavors there? Is it packed with a punch?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do that with vegan food,
right?
And because I've seen it done. Mm-hmm. So to hear you say that, I mean, are you gonna do would you do like the buffalo chicken sandwich that you have?
Uh-huh.
Would you do like a carne asada vegan burrito? I mean, not carne asada, a California vegan burrito?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I would stick it to, like, you know, the California, San Diego style Mexican food that everyone's used to. You know, I'm not gonna like try and do some, you know, New Mexico style vegan food or whatever out here.
Dude, hell no.
Right.
Dude,
yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. I mean, then you can also do like, because I mean, you think about it in a way, like corn and black beans. That's already vegan right there. So it's like, boom. Two base, like you can use garlic, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, garlic, yep, salt, like so. What is it mainly that you can't use? It's like eggs, honey,
exactly.
Milk.
You just can't use like milk, honey, like, you know, I couldn't have sour cream. There's vegan cheeses, but I actually hate like every single vegan cheese that I've had. Like
you hate?
Yeah, like I have a cheese sauce, but like the cheese sauce that I make is pretty good. But like the vegan cheeses, they're like the textures are just like so. It's just like super like soggy, like, you know, it'll melt. But like it tastes like, you know, it's like weird. It's like the super weird texture. It's not cheese. So.
Dude, and this is not to be like hating on this restaurant, but like I mean, my roommate is he's like vegetarian, but so it's like, hey, he'll eat vegan if there's no vegetarian options around.
Right.
And we were in LA one time doing a podcast, and we were in LA, and I was like, yo, G, like, you know, you did all the behind the scenes and stuff. I was like. Let's find a vegetarian or vegan spot. I'll take you out to dinner.
Yeah.
We find this place in like the Hollywood Hills called like Vegan Hooligans or the Hooligan Vegans, something like that. Mm-hmm. And we go in there. It's like this old school diner, and it's popping. You know, like
right
there. We had to wait for a table, and then we get in and we sit right at the bar, and it has like this 50s styles diner look to it. Mm-hmm. Got like the chili cheese fries, which were fire. You know, couldn't even tell they were vegan. Right. And then there was like, we're looking up online like what to get, and there's a buffalo chicken thing, and this is why I'm telling you this.
Right.
I had it, and for me, it was the most disgusting vegan plate I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like the sauce, fire. Yo, sorry guys.
Right.
But like the texture when you ate it, it was like stringy.
Yeah.
And it was like it had a flavor to it that was like, yo, this, you knew it wasn't chicken.
Yeah. Like, what is this?
Yeah. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then everything else was good though.
Right.
I don't remember what else we had, but we had like 3 dishes, and that was the only one that I was like, damn, this actually bummed me out.
Right.
And then I went to yours, and the first thing I thought about was that one. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. And because I was like, it was between that and the banh mi, and then I got yours, and bro, it was like you couldn't tell. Right. And I was like, okay, this I fuck with. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm down.
Right.
What is it that, I mean, is there only one way to make that buffalo chicken? Or?
No. So actually, so I just use oyster mushrooms, and I batter them like chicken pretty much. But like I'm actually I don't use processed foods or anything like that. So like I just use like the whole vegetables, and I like figure out how to make it taste like chicken. Like my beef is just pulled oats and mushrooms. Made into beef, and it it gives the texture of beef. It like tastes like beef, you know. Like that's like I don't use any like Beyond Burgers or Guardian or anything like that. It's vegetables, you know.
How did you learn how to do that? Just Pinterest, YouTube?
No, I just like there's like a lot of, like I've been like I was like reading cookbooks and like watching like a lot of different things, and like kind of figure. It was really just like trial and error, you know, like me like cooking these things and like trying to figure out what tastes good to me, you know, like that had the right texture and kept well and did all these things. So it was like a lot of like just in the kitchen making a bunch of stuff, like I was like pulling a lot of different recipes together. I was like, oh, that doesn't look good, or that looks good, or that looks like I need to add that to it, or or something like that. So it was like a lot of trial and error for sure, mostly.
Now, I mean, you're doing everything. You talked about doing everything.
Yeah.
You were barely making it on your own.
Yeah.
Who does? Because I know how hard it is to be a business owner and do your own social media.
Oh, bro, it sucks. I do that.
You do it too.
Yeah.
Goddamn, son.
Yeah.
You are a one-man show.
yeah. I gotta find somebody. But like social media, like I mean,
if you need somebody, I'll tell you afterwards. But
okay.
I can hook you up.
Bet.
I got you. Bet. Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, like I do. I post all of the posts. Like at first I had like I have a website company who like does my online ordering, and they're like, oh, we have social posting too. Okay, cool. I'll try it out. See how it was. But it wasn't like personal, it was just like random like posts and things like the meme, like they had like a Happy Thanksgiving meme, and it was just like a random meme, and I was like make it funny or make it like something, like do like something cool if you're gonna post a meme. But it was just like or a bear. I'm like, this is not what I need or what I want. So I was like, I'm gonna just do it because this is awkward. This is not cool. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, dude. No, I have somebody for you for sure.
Okay.
Because I feel like you definitely need some help. I mean, it's funny me saying this to you because like I literally was with my friend Katie this past Sunday, and she's like, "You need to appreciate what you've done and how far you've come." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not there yet. I'm not good enough yet." Like, dude, it's fucking crazy hearing you say that.
Inner voice. Yeah.
I say that same shit to myself.
Yeah.
And it's not like my friend Katie's like, shout out Katie, but she's like, you need to do this. And I'm like, it's not that I don't.
Right.
It's just I know I have to do so much more.
Right. Like it's not that I don't. Like, like I'm like, cool. I'll reflect. I'll sit. Now that I finally smoke weed, I'm like, I'll have a joint and like reflect. Okay, cool. I've come far, but like I'm not like gonna own it. Like I'm like always gonna be up my ass, about how far I need to go. Like that's just how it is.
I mean, do you think you're pushing yourself to maybe like get it to the brick and mortar, or are you just like, no, I need my business to be successful however I can get there, whether it's expanding with food trucks or if it's like getting those food trucks to get a brick and mortar past the pandemic?
So at first it was like, pushing, like when I started the farmers market, it was pushing to the brick and mortar, but now I'm like, I'm just pushing to make my business successful in this day and age, like whatever that looks like. If restaurants are going to work out again, then it's a restaurant. But if it's like getting a food truck and finally having a food truck in New York, or whatever, like
damn,
over
you
there.
Want to do cross state lines? Yo, you're going domestic,
right, whatever. Yeah, so like I call them Cali style sandwiches, but and I only call them Cali style sandwiches because they're in New York they have fat sandwiches. And they're like all stuffed with French fries, but like they're not vegan.
Oh wow!
So like that's for sure like I stole that style of sandwiches, but like mine are all vegan. So I'm like, these are Cali sandwiches because they're not stuffed with meat. Like they're just the California version of the New York style sandwich. So. But
the potatoes are vegan, right?
Yeah, everything's vegan.
Okay.
Yeah, but
no,
in the fat sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the potato, obviously potatoes
are
like,
vegan.
unless you're frying them in lard or whatever. But like the sandwiches, it'll be like a buffalo chicken. So like the buffalo chicken strips, mozzarella sticks, buffalo sauce, ranch, and French fries. Like
in a sandwich?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like, you get that at like the corner bodegas, or this is like a spot?
This is like, they have it like at food trucks and like at like the corner bodegas or whatever. Like they have them like out there, like in it's like I think it's mainly food trucks though, for sure.
Dude, that's crazy because like I was in Harlem one time. Dude, my favorite sandwich like of ever. Like I was with my homie Taylor and my other homie Aaron, and we were skating. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling you, I was skating before. So I was on this skate trip, and we're deep in Harlem at this point, and my homie's like, "Yo, like let's go to this corner store, whatever." Go to this bodega, and you walk in, it's hella ghetto.
Yeah.
Like half the chips are missing from the damn. Like every shelf is like damn.
Like what the fuck?
But they got these two homies behind the counter, and there's like a hot skillet, kind of like in your food truck.
Yeah.
And like Dude, so New York, bro. Homie
Right.
has like a polo that's like open,
Right.
skinny as hell,
Right.
and it has like a cocked, like before they were cool, a
Right.
dad hat, but a
Yeah.
New York Yankee dad hat, and like a
Yeah.
gold chain on. He's like, yo, G, what you want? And I was
Right.
like, yo, and like my other homie he lives in New
Yeah.
York, but he's from Cincy,
Yeah.
but he's been there for a minute,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was like, yo, let me get that chopped chicken with some cheese.
Chopped cheese.
Chopped cheese. And I was like, is that good? And he's like, yo, you like chicken and
got it.
cheese? I was like,
Right.
yeah, it was popping. And he's like, yeah, all right. I was like, yeah, let me get that chopped cheese. He's like, all right, 2 chopped cheese. You want hot
Right.
sauce? Yep.
Right.
Let me get that hot sauce.
Yeah.
And then I remember, bro, like just like standing there watching him behind the counter, just chopping it up. And he just looked up at me and he hit it with hot sauce and he looked up and he's like, Gucci? I was like, Gucci. Like, do
Yeah.
it, you know? And
Right.
then I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And I was loving this. And then he just
Right.
get it. Boom, get the chopped cheese, walk out, sit on the ground with my homie, and I take a bite, and I was like,
What the fuck?
"What the
Yeah.
fuck?" Because it's like
Right.
like kind of a ghetto ass neighborhood in
Right.
Harlem. Like
But,
the
like-
store's ghetto, but the sandwich was fucking fire.
Yeah.
Like
Best believe I'm recreating that chopped cheese. So.
that you're gonna do the chopped cheese.
I got to. That shit's so fucking fire. I'm
Dude.
Like, yeah. Best believe I'm recreating one.
With the hot sauce too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Please tell me when you
Yeah.
do that.
Right. Like so. Like my like where I'm going now. I'm like trying to like keep it like all like focused, especially for food trucks 'cause they're so small. Like I want to do Nashville hot chicken, and I'm like I'm gonna just do a Nashville hot chicken, a vegan Nashville hot chicken food truck. Like that just serves Nashville chicken strips, chicken burgers,
Yeah.
fries, and fucking mac and cheese.
Wait, you do some baked beans too.
For Nashville, I haven't had it with Nashville hot chicken.
No, not Nashville hot
Oh,
chicken.
like
I'm sorry,
baked
but
beans?
like there's a spot because I just had
Yeah.
my homegirl Anna. We were working together on Saturday, and she walks up to me and she's like, "Connor, what are we doing for lunch today?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do you want?" And she's like, "Chicken and waffles." I was like, "Damn, I hella did not see you coming at me with that."
Right.
I was like, "All right, let's go to That Boy Good."
Right.
And so we go to That Boy Good,
Yeah.
and we got chicken and waffles, and then a side of mac and cheese, and then also, but because it's like some Louisiana Southern cooking. But I was like, I asked Anna, I was like, "Yo, you got those baked beans?" And she was like, "I've never had them." I'm like,
Right,
"Yo,
you gotta try 'em.
fire!" Like you
Yeah.
got to get the baked beans. But
Yeah.
like obviously can't use bacon, but
Right.
this also the next thing that comes to mind is like, bro, like I know you're trying to like eat healthy and you're like promoting a positive message of this, but it's like, do you want to do a regular restaurant at some point?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I do
Yeah.
want like a regular food.
Like sorry, yeah, with regular food,
yeah. So like right now, so probably eventually, but like I mean I don't think like by then I'll be like 100% vegan and I'll be like I'm never eating meat again, bro.
never say
but,
never,
like, right? Yeah, never. Yeah, but like I do want to for like I like as of right now, like I've always wanted a soul food restaurant, but like when it gets there, we'll have to see if
Cross that bridge when it gets there, yeah.
Right, exactly. But for sure, I want to have like a vegan soul food restaurant at least coming through. Like that's like the main thing, like the big project right now. Like I think I'm seeing everything else as like means to an end, but like for sure, like a good sit down vegan restaurant, I think, or vegan soul food or vegan barbecue even like fucking. Like with the pit and everything,
barbecue.
dude. I've been like thinking hard about like how to make like some vegan brisket like on the smoker. That's fucking smoked all day and just
That would
fucking
be so
pulled out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
right?
You're getting me excited right now because I want to see how you would do
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, I'm like, trust me, it's come like I'm gonna figure that shit out.
Yo,
like
I'm
to
super
just have
down.
like a traditional like experience at a barbecue place. Like I think like that would be dope as fuck.
Have you gotten any pushback from people who are like, "Yo, you're like, yo, this isn't real," or like that, like it's vegan, it's but they try your food and it's like, "Yo, this shit's good as fuck."
Right. Like, well, I've had people that like come up and like, "Oh, I didn't even know this was vegan," or like, like people who like they're like, "Oh, I fed my boyfriend this and he didn't even know it was vegan and that was his favorite spot." Like so I haven't necessarily gotten like
Sick.
pushback, but like I definitely had like some people that have come up and been like, "Yeah, like I didn't know it was vegan," or like, this is what I did and it's fucking good.
Damn, that's fucking tight,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yo, good for you.
Thanks.
Good. Do you ever like kind of like Jay-Z saying like get that dirt off your shoulder, like it's like like pat myself on the back.
Sometimes, occasionally. Not.
Hell yeah. I mean, dude, you should. I mean, celebrate yourself. I mean, what you're
Yeah.
doing is not an easy feat.
Yeah.
the fact of the matter, too, like, it's just blowing my mind that you're so young and you're doing this. Like, good for you. I mean, do you have I mean, you're talking about aspirations of, like, you know, opening up a food truck in New York. I mean, do you follow other food trucks that have been successful that have either expanded to multiple food trucks and then into a brick and mortar? Like, for example, there's Senior Sig Sig in San Francisco. They opened like 5 food trucks before they even got their brick and mortar. Their brick and mortar, and still have all 5 food trucks around the city.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, no, I had definitely, like, I'm new to, like, the food truck world, but I definitely, like, I'm thinking of, like, that's, like, how I'm thinking of, like, what I want to do with Rollin Roots. I'm like, I'll for sure probably just keep getting food trucks until I'm ready to open a restaurant. But, like, you know, they'll all be individually managed and have somebody, like, overseeing them, so I'm not doing all the work. But I think, like, for sure food trucks until it's well enough to do the restaurant.
You would be the owner and not franchised.
Yeah, I would be the owner, because, like, I'm all about, like so when I have this new location opening in Miramar, I have a great pool of cooks and talented people. So, like, I'm going to be the owner of that location, but, like, I'm going to have one of my cooks, you know, be a managing partner and, like, have a percentage of shares and all that stuff, so that they're...
Oh, wow.
Cause I don't want to oversee the location, you know, all day, every day, and I want them to have a piece inside of it. You know, I want them to think of it as their own, you know, so, like, they take care of it like it's their own, because, you know, they're making money on how well it does, so...
Buttery.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. That's so rad. I mean, fuck. I just, like, it gets me so stoked to hear you say this. I mean, So when is this next location going to open, this one in Miramar?
It's inside of Serpentine Cider. I already have the health permit, actually. Like, I'm able to be open today, but, like, I want to make sure that I get, like, I'm going to do a soft opening pretty soon, like, probably, hopefully, before the end of the month. Like, start doing soft opening there, and then just make sure that, like, things are kosher, because it's a smaller, like, place. It's inside of a brewery, but, like, you know, the kitchen space is smaller, but, like, the brewery is pretty big. But I just want to make sure that, like, you know, I have some time to get all the hiccups out and get everything done properly.
Now, are you worried? I mean, obviously, you know what's going on with the world right now, and in terms of the pandemic, especially San Diego, we're coming, you know, we just dropped a tier where the cases are going down and things are just kind of opening back up, where there's indoor seating at some places, stuff like that. Hypothetically, something happens, we jump back up, they shut down again. Right. Or shut down again, I should say. Do you have a contingency plan in case that happens again?
I mean, like, it'll most likely just be me cutting back down the staff and the food truck, because, you know, we're a food truck, so, like, we're only able to do to go anyway, so we got deliveries and stuff like that. So I think if something like that happens again, like, I'm in a place to be able to say, you know, I'll be fine on the food truck, because, you know, it's right now it's kind of COVID proof, you know, unless they're like, all businesses have to close, which, you know, I think wouldn't work, but no. Like, there would be some problems. But I think we're in a place to, on the food trucks, you know, to just do deliveries and things like that, and how we currently are, because we don't even have seating or anything at the food truck. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is, hopefully I want to put a food truck on the other side of that same lot, and then just do, like, another vegan concept, like probably the Mexican food or our Asian fusion food or something like that.
Wait, in that same parking lot?
Yeah, just, like, on the other side of it, because I think it'll fit right on the other side perfectly. I have, like, a little thing in, like, a white 10 by 20 tent right now, but I'm gonna just put, like, a little smaller cashier station there, and then put another food truck on the other side, just to, like, I don't, you know, just have another concept for people to go to.
Sick, dude. Yeah. That's, I mean, the next thing I really wanted to ask you is, like, because we haven't really touched on it, but, dude, you're a passionate individual. Yeah. You speak with passion. You're like, yo, like, I'm bringing that chopped cheese. You know, like, you know, when you're talking about it, like, you exude passion. Where do you find your passions? What is your main passion? Is there anything that you find passionate outside of cooking that maybe motivates your cooking?
So, I mean, honestly, like, my main passion is, like it's like, education and like the nonprofit sector and things like that. Like I've been like wanting to do a 501c forever, like a nonprofit organization, but I just haven't gotten to it. So like right now, like food is a good passion of mine, but like, like that's not where I want to end up at. That's not where I want to like be at. Like, it's like, let me build this business, let me get it up, let me get it going, let me do some good in this business, and then like eventually, I don't know, I haven't figured out where exactly I want to do, because I stopped going to college when I was, like I was almost I was studying business management, and I knew I didn't want to do that because I was already, managing a restaurant. So I stopped going, and I haven't figured out like kind of where I wanted to pivot to, but I for sure think my passion is like, just helping out. There's like so many problems that like I see, simple solutions to, or like not necessarily simple solutions, but like a means to an end, like different ways of doing what we're currently doing. And so I'm just like, how can I like help solve some of these problems? Like that's kind of
like what problems specifically?
Well, I mean, like I see like, like definitely, I mean, for sure it's like, especially within different communities, like, well, for sure our environment, huge number one, but like I would say like within Black communities and like people of color communities, of those, like all the problems that like are just a right, like like I said, like the foster care system is a stepping stone right to prison. So like,
to jail,
like things like solving problems like that, like how do we fix our system in that way, or now how do we fix our system in this way, like how do we actually rehabilitate people coming out of prison, or how do we like do things like that, rather than just letting it be as it is, like that's the kind of shit that I really want to get into. So I don't know if whether it'll be like political, or whether I'll just always have a business and like now I'm gonna just put my money into these things, or what is it gonna be, but that's where I want to get into.
Well, it sounds like a vehicle. Like this is a vehicle to something bigger.
Yeah.
Almost. Now, my next question would be, would you find it more useful or beneficial, I should say, to maybe focus on some kids like what you're doing already with like foster care and foster children, to like be an influence to maybe change the direction before they were to go to jail? Or is it like, do you find there might be more benefit in rehabilitating or giving people a chance who've come out of prison, who are older, and try to give them a vehicle to get out of the system essentially that's already designed for them to fail, because they could cook and you can get hired.
I mean, I think I would say both, but like really all three, but like both of those, like like you can see like the kids that are gonna go down this path. You can like see what areas they're growing up in, like what activities they're involved in, like what they're not doing. So like like things as simple as like putting a community development program, or like putting a community like a YMCA or whatever. Like the YMCA is not gonna save everybody's life, but like having these kids be able to do different activities before and then like during prison to like actually be rehabilitating them and getting them ready to go back into society, because that's like the process in the middle too. And then afterwards, like when they're coming out, like how are we going to get them some job skills, some life skills, because they're going to come out and not have anything, or not have any skills that they've really learned in prison, like cooking and stuff like that too. But like what else did they learn in there, during that time? So like afterwards, making sure that there's system structures, stones in place to make sure that they're on the right track, rather than just having a parole officer or whatever like to check in with. Like that's not really gonna stop me from selling weed. Like I gotta check in with you, but I'm gonna that's not gonna stop me from doing what I need to do to make ends meet. And it's definitely like survival mode when they come out. But so I'm just like, where can I fit in to make some changes?
I mean, there's this there was this coffee shop in Nashville that I went to. Dude, I can't fucking remember the name of it. It's called like Humphreys or something like that. My friend Jake used to work there. And their whole thing was that it was like a nonprofit coffee shop. Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting because the coffee shop was beautiful. They made soap, I believe, as well. So it always smelled really clean in there. But very white walls, like white, everything, and it just looked pristine. And then they would have these amazing soaps. And then I was sitting there talking to my friend Jake and his girlfriend, and we were having coffee, and he's kind of telling me about the whole thing about the coffee shop was they are helping the troubled youth of Nashville and I believe Memphis. I could be completely wrong. I apologize if that was also a part of it, but they would help these kids in these neighborhoods, and they would give them jobs. And the jobs were to become soap makers, or to teach them barista skills, or roasting, because they had a roasting facility. And they would really take these kids and give them an outlet and give them responsibilities. And of course, if they messed up, you take away time or whatever, but these kids would grow to love it. And it really changed the course for a lot of them.
Right.
Through coffee, through responsibility, through coffee roasting, barista, and soap making.
Right.
I mean, have you thought about that as well? Like, I mean...
Yeah, well, I've definitely thought of, like, being able to, like, provide, like, something, like activity like that, for people, like, like food, like, even, like, having starting your own business and things like that, like, being able to help them out in that aspect. Obviously, I'm not there yet, but,
I mean, but sure. You are. You're living proof, bro. Like I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record right here, but you gotta appreciate what you're doing. I mean, when you said you dropped out of college, to do business, or you were majoring in business management, bro. You don't need a college degree. You're already doing it. Right. You're managing a business. Yeah. You've pivoted in a pandemic. Right. Like, yeah, it sounds like the pot calling the kettle black. It's like, you gotta appreciate what you've already done, bro. Right. But I mean, fuck. I mean, I don't think just because you don't have the degree to show that you're doing it doesn't mean you don't know how to do it. And that you could influence other people on how to do it and do even better than you. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's the goal.
Like, I mean, that's what the point is as you're getting older, right? You have to give knowledge and support the people that are coming up. So they might not take you out, but they're gonna definitely learn from what you did and maybe learn like an older brother, right? You learn like your older brother fucked up, right? He did this. Well,
don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, like yeah. I mean, that's what I did. Right. With my older brother, he fucked up. Don't do that. Right. Mom kicked his ass. Ooh, don't want that.
Right.
You feel me? Yeah. Man, I think it's very inspiring what you're doing. And, I mean, you said things are starting to mellow out again. Have you like, is it more of a consistent basis now? Like you have like your customer base that like your regulars and people like that?
Yeah, I would say like there's like definitely people that come all the time and like, regulars come and support, and then like, the Yelp page is pretty good. So like got all, mostly 5-star reviews. Okay. So like I'm getting like new business and things like that. But it's like with the restaurant industry, it's kind of like, they steady out, and then like you have like the quarter, like right now we're in like quarter 2, I think. It's like getting back into the busy season. So it's like where sales should be, things like that. But it's definitely like mellowing and like steadying out to where it's like, you kind of know the sales that you're expecting each day for the most part.
Do you, because being a business owner and especially being a startup, like, just like doing what you're doing, do the pressures of like taking risks on yourself ever scare you?
Yeah.
Like betting on yourself?
Yeah, well, for sure. Well, I mean, like, it definitely does, but like I'm in a position to where like I haven't taken out any loans because I couldn't get any loans. Or, like I'm not like everything that I've put into it has been solely like what for my savings and stuff like that. So like I see it as like if I make a wrong bet, then like I'm really not losing anything because like I didn't borrow money from anybody, or like I started from $0. So like as long as I end up at 0 and not negative $1 million,
Yeah. Negative $1 million.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I was like, I only asked because, I'm the same way, bro. I'm just like you in the sense that one-man show. I mean, not really a one-man show because I have my mother. My mother's a professional photographer. Nice. I shoot all the photos. Yeah. I do everything. I just send over content and she'll edit for me.
Oh, nice.
I also have my marketing team, and they are amazing. Again, I do all the like content creation, social media, all that stuff. But I'll take photos and boom, send it to the marketing team. Okay, here we go. Boom, is what we're gonna do.
Nice.
But that's it. And then I have the amazing ladies of Caffeine and Green, and now a couple guys, but like, they're all so down. Right. You know, I have like my solid crew of people, but like I could not do it without any of them.
Right.
But it's also so scary because like I don't know if you listen to this rapper. His name is Rex Life Raj. He's one of my favorite rappers from the Bay Area. But he's like, he has this lyric. He says, I keep betting on for Raji because his name's Raji. He's like, I keep betting on for Raji even when I know it's risky. And then he talks about how like he's come out of it and whatever. But that lyric to me is just like, since the first time I heard it, I was like, dude, this is fucking real life. Like, all right here, like there's a coffee bag. Those are all my coffee cups that I just got made. It's like just taking bets on myself. And like, granted, I have to thank all the people that have like bought my coffee because like I started with a minimal amount to start a coffee roasting business. Right. And I haven't paid for any of that. Like that's all the money I made back on my coffee roasting. Right. And it's been able to like continue the flux, you know, the circle of life essentially. Yeah. I'm very grateful for that. Right. But dude, every fucking day I'm scared. I'm scared every day, bro.
Right, cuz it is fucking scary.
You don't know how it's going to end. Like I mean, there was 1 week like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I started the company was formed in July. I launched it in October. And from October until 2 weeks ago, I'd sold coffee every single week. I'm selling bags, like doing ghosts, like or private label, all that stuff. Right. Like 2 weeks ago, I went an entire week without selling a bag of coffee, and it tripped me out. I was like low key freaking the fuck out. But in my head, I knew because I'm like, oh, there's like these lulls in cafes where there's like those slow months. Right. The fact that I was selling so much coffee in the slow months, right, it meant a lot. But then all of a sudden, it was like just like a brick and mortar. There's the lull. And like it was Monday, made it to Monday. Didn't sell one bag. Monday, I sold 6 bags, and I was like, okay, good, thank God. You know, like, and then a couple days go by, and then more coffee gets sold, and it's just like, oh shit. You know, like,
like, damn.
Not even like a hoodie. Like, damn, like something.
Like,
you know?
Right, get something.
Something. Yeah. And then it was like, then I just had my first pop up, and then it was like, you do your first pop up, and you make almost an entire month's worth of pay in one night, and it's like, yo, we need to do more of these. Like that was immediate. Like, okay, this is the pivot.
Right. Like, how do we get this done?
How do we get more pop-ups? How do we do this? Let's get it going. I mean, we're in 2 different areas, like food, coffee, like pop-ups. You have food trucks, so it's like But the hustle is there. You know what I mean? It's like
I would definitely say like especially in the vegan community, like the council culture is real. Like, you know, make one mistake and it's like you're over, you know, like they will fucking shun you. Like,
dude, for real. Like,
that's
why I was asking you about the vegan thing. Like, are you like a diehard?
Yeah, no. So like, I mean, like I always make it clear. I'm like, our motto is eat less meat. Like that's, I make it clear all the time. Like we're not people who are like gonna be like, oh my god, like, you know, my employees are like, oh, they have to be vegan to work here. No, you know, like that's not what we're about at all. Like, you know, you want to be part of this plant-based movement. You want to start eating less meat. That's why they're here. That's why they're coming here. They want to put, you know, they just want to change, like, dude, just change one meal a week for a vegan meal or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. But like our whole model is eat less meat. It's not like you need to do this and you need to be vegan. Or, like, no, that's not how we roll or we operate. 'Cause like I see people all the time, they're like, oh, well, they're like, they're not vegan yet, so like they're dead to me. Like, bro, like, were you just like, oh, I'm gonna be vegan, and now you're just 100% vegan from one day to the next? Like, is that really how it happened? Like, for you? Like, oh, no, like that's not how life. That's not a realistic expectation for anybody at all. You know, like nobody's gonna like even if you did do that, like, what? First of all, what drugs are you on? Second of all, like that's not an expectation. Like, I see, like that's kind of really what turns people off from being vegan. Is they're like that people are Nazis about it, and that's just like, yeah, like help me eat less meat, but like don't shun me about it, or, you know, don't like make me feel like a fucking asshole for eating chicken. Growing up eating chicken, you know, like that's what I grew up on. Like that's the reality of it. So like, how about introduce me to your lifestyle, or let's see about reducing your meat consumption. But like being a Nazi about it, I'm like, you're just eating dead carcasses, and I'm like, nobody's going to get a good reaction from that. Like you're not going to tell anybody like, oh, that's what you do, and you're like being judgmental is not ever going to get somebody to be on your side. Like, oh my God, you're judging me so much that now I gotta be vegan. Like nobody's gonna react to that. Like, it's straight trash. So.
Well, I mean, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I'm like, we're not like, I mean, like, I'm just trying to make dank ass vegan food to get people to eat less meat and do good by the environment by doing that. Like that's it. Like I'm not trying to do anything else but have an overall reduction. Like that's it, dude.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Do you find that because I feel like the common misconception too with vegan food is that it's automatically healthy.
Right.
Like, I mean, dude, sometimes I see I used to work in a vegan bakery when I was like just trying to make ends meet, being like a skateboarder. And I would see all the sugar and all the different additives that go in there to make it taste better.
Right.
So it's not necessarily that it's healthier.
Right. It's just vegan. Like
it's just vegan.
Right. Like vegan sugar is just not filtered through bone char. And I definitely have been like adamant about like staying away from like people, or like staying away from like being labeled as healthy food. I just took salads off the menu because like one, they were difficult to make with the price cuts that I just did, but also like we're not a healthy like place. Like you can go get a salad at any other vegan restaurant in San Diego. Like any other place will serve you a salad, but like we're not we're just vegan comfort food. We're vegan. Like I don't want that stigma of like, oh, you eat vegan, like all you eat is salad. It's like, no, this is some good ass food over here. That's just what we're just making good food. Like no labels, just good food. Literally, like, I put that on the sign the other day. Like that's like literally
no labels, just food.
Yeah,
good taste.
Just good food.
Good food.
Yeah.
Fucking love it, bro. I fucking love it, dude. You're killing it, Avonte. I mean, bro, I have to say, like, this is the first time we've met, obviously. Like, but dude, I'm completely in support of what you're doing now. Like, not that I wasn't before. I mean, I went to the food truck and I tried the food. I brought two of my homies. Yeah. And everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Now that I know you and we've gotten time to talk, dude, we're about to do an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, it goes by super fast.
That was fast, yeah.
Dude, it's like, I think there needs to be more people like you, bro. Like, I'm going to be real 100. I'm going to be 100 right now. Like, hearing you talk about, like, your passions, talk about what you do outside of it, what your true messages and your intentions are.
Right.
I think these are admirable traits, and I also think that, like, bro, if you're already doing what you've done with essentially nothing, like, dude, there's, you know what I mean? Like,
I tell myself all, like, I tell people, like, dude, like, imagine if I was rich, or like not if I was rich, but like imagine like if like I had some of the opportunities that I would have been equally presented. Like, dude, I would be like, like I'm giving away food every day. I'm like, dude, imagine, like, this is what happens when like somebody grows up a certain way. Or I mean, it's not necessarily that it doesn't happen like that all the time, but like like my experiences, my background, like I want to do as much as I can to like kind of elevate that, like make sure that other people don't have that experiences. And I'm just like, I always think like, dude, if I had money, like it would be over, like it would be game over. Like I wouldn't, like I was like I don't understand like the greed and all that stuff. And it's I get it, like you build a business and you want to keep as much as possible, but like I'm like there's like so much shit going on in the world that like I never want to be that person, So I'm like starting small, making it happen. Like I kind of like now have no choice but to be doing like the shit that like, and that's where I'm at. Like that's what I'm happy about that, Like I don't ever want to be labeled as that person that's just like hoarding shit, like.
Well, dude, I mean, do you believe in karma?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're doing right now is definitely you're getting some good karma, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
I don't even see it as just a vegan food truck anymore. I see it as like you're starting a movement almost. Like it's like Nipsey Hussle said. He's like, find something and start a movement.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. I mean, like what you're talking about, giving away free food and like doing these things to essentially elevate not only just people but your community.
Right.
That speaks levels, bro. Like there's so much more to this, and like I I love that. Yeah. I fucking love that. I think it's fucking dope. Like 100%. Like I said, we'll talk about. I'll get you in contact with some marketing people that I know. But dude, I wish nothing but the best for you, Avonte. I love everything you're doing. I think it's dope. You have good ass food. Please go and visit him, dude. But Avonte, tell the people where they can find you. Location, address, Instagram.
Perfect. Yeah. So on Instagram, we're at Rollin Roots SD, ROLLIN, no G. We're at 8040 Armour Street every single day. What is it? Sunday we're open from 12 to 7. Monday through Thursday 12 to 9, and then Friday and Saturday we're open until 10 p.m. Out there in Kearny Mesa, we're opening up a new location, 8665 Miramar Drive, Suite 100 in Miramar. Sorry, that's going to be more of a sit-down location. Same food, same vibe, same people, but that's where we're at.
Dude. Fuck yeah. So hyped. Avonte, whatever you need, seriously, whatever you need. If you want me to repost, want me to post about the opening, like grand opening, let me know. I'll be there. I'll bring more homies. I always tell everybody who's been on the show, this will not be the last time you're going to be on the show. Yeah. And please, I have a network of people, and I just want to help utilize and help you grow, bro.
Appreciate it.
Because it's all about people helping people, and you're about that, bro. You feel me?
So I'm gonna tell you this. There's a lot of so I used to do at the food truck. Well, I just stopped last week because I'm waiting on a permit from the health department. They're taking forever, but other vendors there. There's 5 vendors on the weekends, all free. They don't have to pay me anything. They're just new up and coming businesses. And they just we're struggling. We're all struggling right now. My food truck's popping, so come on over, and y'all can be popping too with everybody else. Just spend some money on you guys. And I was just saying, I love kind of the reactions that I get from other people, other vendors that I've been talking to about helping them out, when I have my space available to them. They're just you would do that? I'm just dude, we all got to eat, I'm I can't do everything. If I can help you guys eat, then let's eat. They're oh man, I'm so excited. There's a lot of small businesses here in San Diego County, and they're oh, I want to start with the farmers markets or do this, and they're just I can't afford the health permit. I'm just oh bro, come on, let me see how I can help you get this. Now that I have a location in Miramar, I'm oh cool, I can have a couple of you guys use this as a commissary kitchen. Nice. To have their to get their permits and stuff to start doing farmers markets and different events. And I'm just what can I how can I help you to be successful so that you can help somebody else? As long as you pay it back, do I need to pay for your permit? I'm gonna get a couple of people's health permit for them for the farmers markets. And I'm just now when you make it, just make sure that you help somebody else out. Because luckily I'm in a position to be able to do that, but
pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward, because that's what it's gonna take to stop the whatever it is of everybody pulling each other down, the crawfish in the bucket,
crabs in a bucket,
crabs in a bucket. Yeah. I hate that mentality. It never looks good to me. I'm always just help them out. What is it going to cost you? It's not going to cost you anything. Even if it does cost you something, it's definitely worth it to help somebody else out.
Well, this goes back to that karma we were talking about.
Yeah, that's just my mentality. So,
dude, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. Well, you heard it here first, people. So, hit him up, let him know if there's other vendors or whatever. Just fuck.
Yeah.
And anything you could do, or anything I can do for you, dude, I will help you out so much because you're already on that level, and that's what I love to do. So, I think two people on the same level.
Right. Perfect. What's going to stop us?
Dude, nothing. Not a goddamn thing.
Not a damn thing.
Dude. Avonte, I appreciate your time, brother.
Yes, sir.
I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and I will definitely be coming by the food truck again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Peace. Yes, thank you so much, Avonte. That was an amazingly inspiring conversation, and I am just so excited to see where you go from here, brother. And let me just say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come by the show. And also, guys, I want to say thank you and appreciate all of you listeners around the world that keep showing amazing support for the show. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Head on over to Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're on it. And guys, head on over to www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. Check out that Issa blend, the OG coffee, and then also that new Victory Lap inspired by my homegirl, Leah Clockley. So again, www.caffeineandgreenroasting.com today. And guys, please take care of each other out there. Wear your mask, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.